Well, hi everyone. It has been quite some time since I went live on Instagram, and in fact I'm so out of practice that I had a moment of panic there because I set my camera up, I was fiddling around with my lighting, I was just getting myself sorted, and then I had a moment of horror when I thought I had actually gone live 10 minutes ago and that you'd all been sitting watching me fiddling around, although I don't think you would have been watching me if I'd just been doing that. Anyway, I think I am live now. I hope I'm live now. Let me just put my glasses on to see. Everything seems to be in order. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I am live, and the reason I'm live is I wanted to come on and talk to you, perhaps not surprisingly to some of you, about offers, because I am in the process at the moment of putting together the detail and enrolling people into my forthcoming class group coaching container, which is going to run for 8 weeks, called Offer Wizard. And as the name suggests, it's all about creating offers, creating aligned offers that are profitable and transformative and successful and all the good things that we want from offers. And I've been doing a lot of thinking, both in the marketing, as I've been doing the marketing for this, and also as I begin to create the material for the course, which starts in just over a week. I've been, of course, doing a lot of thinking about offers and what constitutes a good offer, what constitutes a successful offer in the online space. And I've actually been thinking quite a lot about the kind of things that we need to know before we even begin the process of creating an offer. And I even have been thinking about what perhaps some of my participants in Offer Wizard will need to know and understand before they really begin the nuts and bolts of the Offer Wizard program. And of course, I'll be contacting those of you who have enrolled already. I'll be contacting you soon with some details of any preparation you do have to do. Don't worry, it won't be anything too onerous. And I thought that this live would actually help serve as a bit of a precursor to the program, which I can use both for those who are in the program, but which I hope will also be useful to those who are not in the program, but who are in the process of ideating and creating and moving into promoting and selling their offers. And the concept I've been thinking about a lot over the last few days is the concept of alignment. Because when it comes to a successful offer, what we define as a successful offer, there are so many different definitions of success, so many different criteria that we might apply to success. So some of us would think it's about profit. Is my offer going to turn a profit? Is it actually going to be worth my while financially to do this offer, to create this offer? What's the number of enrollments I'm going to get? Am I going to meet my target of enrollments, or am I going to get the number of referrals I want, people signposting other people onto the offer? Will I get good testimonials? Will I get positive reviews? All these different things that we think about. And also, will the offer be as transformative as I want it to be for the people that it's designed to serve? These are all really valid criteria to consider when we're thinking about whether our offers are going to be successful or not. They're all absolutely valid things to think about. But the thing that I've really been thinking about in terms of offer success is this concept of alignment. And again, just like success, there are different definitions of alignment. And in the online space, we hear quite a lot about alignment in different contexts. We hear about there's different layers to alignment, because we hear about alignment with our ideal client, for example, alignment with our niche, alignment with our audience, alignment with our market. In other words, is our offer aligned with that? Are we kind of creating something that is going to chime a bell with the people who need to understand what we're offering and who could potentially benefit from what we're offering? So we hear a lot about alignment in that sense, in quite a practical, tactical sense. But the piece that I have been really thinking about over the last few days and want to speak to you about is what I think is the most important alignment when it comes to building a successful offer, one that's going to be sustainable in the long term for us and for the people that we are serving. And that is alignment with ourself, alignment with our self-concept, our desired self-concept as an online entrepreneur. And you can get a bit woo about it and say alignment with your soul or your spirit, the spirit of your entrepreneurial self or the spirit of your business. All of that's absolutely valid. You might be a bit more pragmatic and say alignment with your heart, alignment with your kind of character, if you like, some of which might sound a bit wishy-washy, but nonetheless is really important. But alignment is about an offer that feels right in yourself, that feels like the offer you were born to create and that only you can create in only the way that you can create it. That's the kind of alignment that I'm talking about. And it's one of the reasons that when we try to put together an offer of any kind, whether it's a one-to-one coaching offer or a group coaching offer or a passive course or an ebook or a one-to-one coaching package or a training event or a retreat, any kind of offer, whatever the format, it's one of the reasons why if we're trying to do it aligned with someone or using as a template someone else's formula, it can get quite difficult to get that sense of alignment going because we're trying to create something that isn't necessarily an expression of us, a genuine expression of ourselves. And it's not that it's false and it's not that it's phony, it's not that it's not relevant. Many of us, especially early on in our careers, have created offers that have been based on a template that's been put together by someone who's walked the path before. But if it's not fully aligned to you, that's very unsustainable. And when I look at people who are successful in the online space, and I mean successful by their own definition. So, yes, there are people who are, completely killing it in terms of massively profitable offers, 6, 7, 8-figure offer creators, but also people who are creating offers that are ticking over, that are at a level of profitability that is good enough for them and that sustains their business and makes them feel good about what they're delivering. That I would still define that as successful. The people who do that most consistently, in my perception, are those who have actually created offers that are fully aligned with themselves. And we see it. We can tell when someone has an offer that's really aligned with themselves and when someone else has an offer that seems to be based on someone else's template. It becomes very obvious. And the people with offers that are continually based on someone else's template, my perception is very often those are the people who struggle to get fully established and to sustain themselves in the online space in the long term. And those who do establish themselves and sustain themselves in the online space in the long term are people who are very aligned to their offers, which means that very often those offers don't look like the usual kind of offer. They can quite often look quite unusual, quite unique. And that's because the alignment is there. It's aligned with the internal, not with the external. And I think that that's one of the things that's really, really important in offer creation. So one of the ways to know if an offer that you're creating is not in alignment with yourself is you'll notice that it creates feelings of discomfort in you. And I'm not saying that feelings of discomfort on this entrepreneurial journey aren't normal. Of course they are. We'll all have moments where we're not as comfortable as we would like, and it can be challenging in the online space and in the entrepreneurial space. I'm talking about a more fundamental sense of discomfort that seems to come from the very offer itself. So it might create feelings of judgment within you. It might create feelings of second guessing within you. It might create feelings of doubt that what you're doing is the right thing. It might create feelings of fear. And again, it's not that you won't fear doing things. It's not that, when you go through the process of creating an offer and putting it out there for the world to look at and see and potentially and ultimately buy, that can be a scary thing, particularly if you're doing it for the first time. Although it doesn't necessarily stop being scary, even when you've done it a lot. And those of us who've done it a lot still feel that fear and trepidation. But there's a healthy fear that comes from that sense of doing something that might be challenging and that is quite exposing at times. And then there's the kind of more it's almost like a sickening feeling of fear that this is not the right track, this is not the right thing for me, I'm trying to build something that is not aligned with my self-concept. You know that you're not aligned with your self-concept when that kind of fear comes in. And the problem is, if you feel that happening consistently in your offer creation, it will almost feel a bit like, if it becomes consistent, you're cementing them in. You're setting up an infrastructure that is actually going to be problematic for you long term. So that's what we want to avoid. That's a sign that things are off in terms of our offers. So how do we know when our offers are in full alignment with ourselves? That's what I want to talk to you about in this video. And for me, it's about not skipping too far ahead in the offer creation process. It's about not necessarily jumping to what many coaches will tell you to jump to, which is this offer fully aligned with your audience, your niche, your ideal client? Is it profitable, or could it be profitable? Will it sell? Is it what the market wants? Is it what others need? You know, all of those things are valid and important, and in any offer creation process, including the one that I teach, we certainly go through those questions. Those are important questions. But I see a lot of people jumping to those questions right out the gate as though they're the foundational questions. And in my mind, they're not the foundational questions. There is a much more foundational question you need to answer, and that's about the alignment of your offer with yourself. What do you love about your offer? What feels right within you? What feels like the right kind of offer for you? When you sink into your heart of hearts and you let yourself see and feel the kind of offer that you want to create, what is it that feels aligned with yourself? That's the more important question to answer. And answering the question, what would that be and what would it look like, is one of the challenges that we face when we're starting this process of offer creation. And one of the most challenging things can be that it may not be, when you really dig into that question and try to find an answer to that question, you might find that the offer that is most aligned with you is not what you expected it to be, and isn't necessarily the one that you feel you should be developing. And that can be a kind of an uncomfortable feeling and quite a disorienting feeling. In my experience, an offer that's really aligned will be one that is probably connected in some way to stuff that you knew about yourself already and had maybe forgotten about. And what I mean by that is, it might be things that you discounted. It might be based around skills that you discounted or interests you discounted. It might be based around things that you were attracted to in your childhood, in your earlier life, that you feel a natural kind of proclivity towards, some of which might be things that you have discounted because you think, well, they don't meet the criteria of being profitable or being what other people immediately obviously need. But there's something about exploring what aligns with you and your temperament, because the truth of the matter is, if it aligns with you and your temperament, there is a very good chance that there will be other people out there who will have similar tastes and desires and proclivities as you do. That's one of the things that attracts right people to us, aligned people to us. They pick up on the energy signature that we are in and that we are transmitting. And we sometimes forget that when it comes to offer creation. We jump to the, how do I calibrate myself to the market out there in order to be successful and profitable, before I've calibrated myself to me. So I'm just checking my notes here because I don't want to miss anything that I wanted to say. So something to just emphasize, that this isn't about being right or wrong. It's not about saying that different models of offer creation are incorrect. But what I encourage people to do is set aside the expectations of what our offers should look like, and think about less about what the system would say our offers should look like, or the internet, if you start browsing the internet for how do you put together an offer, or the gurus or the books or any of those things, including coaching programs like mine, you know, any of those, set them aside and ask ourselves, what should our offer look like, and see what emerges. So I want to give you 3 questions that can help you with that process of emergence of an aligned offer. And this is about the beginning foundational stuff. This isn't the be all and end all, but this is, I think, a very powerful, potent way of beginning the process of grasping what your offer, what your aligned offer could be. So the first question, let me do a dramatic pause to take a sip of my drink. The first question is, if you knew that your offer would be all the things you want it to be, so profitable and popular and transformative for clients and successful in all the ways that we might consider an offer to be successful. If you knew it would be all of those things, whatever it looked like, whatever niche it was in, whatever shape it took, you know, however it was structured. In other words, if you knew you didn't have to worry about any of that, what would your offer look like? And what pops into your mind when you ask yourself that question? What do you see? What do you feel when you ask yourself that question? What format might your offer be? What would be a satisfying kind of offer for you? And this isn't, you know, about coming up necessarily with a very detailed answer. Your answer might be quite impressionistic at this point, but just allow yourself to think what that what answer arises. So if you knew that your offer would be profitable and successful and transformative and do all the things that an ideal offer would do, that you want your offer to do, if you knew that it would do that, if you didn't have to worry about any of that, you know, whatever form your offer took, what form would it take? What would it look like? That's question 1. Question 2 is, what qualities would your offer need to have in order for you to feel safe inside it? What qualities would your offer need to have in order for you to feel safe inside it? Would it need to be quiet and calm? Maybe intimate with only a few people in it? Maybe just you and one client, or you and a small group of people? Would it need to be spacious? Would there need to be lots of gaps between interactions between you and clients? Or would it need to be really lively, energetic, lots of people, lots of contact, frequency of contact, close proximity? Would that be what you needed in order to feel, not to feel that the offer was doing what it needed to do, or that it was the appropriate kind of offer, but for you to feel safe inside that offer? This is so important, because if we feel safe within our own offers, they are so much more sustainable for us and for the people we invite into them. They're so much easier to market, because we don't find ourselves feeling like we're going to puke every time we try and get somebody into our offer. I think, oh my God, what am I going to do once people are in this offer? So what do you need to feel safe within your own offers? What qualities would it need to have in order for you to feel safe inside it? Would it need to be demanding of you and the people in it? Would it need to be easeful and kind of relaxed? Would it need to be very directed, or very kind of open and free-flowing and almost kind of impressionistic? Would it need to be about very practical, almost, not to say superficial, but kind of surface immediate results? Or would it need to be about deep intrinsic transformation? So there's no right or wrong answer to this. It's just about letting the answers emerge. And what you might want to think about is, as you're thinking of these qualities, think in terms of the senses. So what might it look like? What might it feel like? What might it smell like? What might it taste like? What might it sound like? Is it hard? Is it soft? Is it, what kind of density does it have? What colour does it have? So allow yourself to be impressionistic when you think about these qualities. And a supplementary question to this might be helpful for you is, if your offer was a country, what customs and culture would it have? So this is still about qualities. So if it was a country, what culture and customs might it have? So that's the second question. If your offer, in order for you to feel safe in your offer, what qualities would it need to have in order for you to feel safe within it? And the third question is, when you look back on your offer at some distant point in the future, and you look back in time on your offer or your offers, and you're remembering your offer, and other people are remembering your offer from the future, how would you like it to be remembered? How would you like it to be remembered? Would you like it to be remembered for its profitability? Would you like to think that was such a great offer, it made me millions? Would you want to remember it for the transformation it created in the lives of your clients, perhaps, or in your life, maybe in your family's life? Would you like to remember it for its level of comfort and ease, how easy it was to be in it? Would you like to remember it for how fun it was, or how challenging it was? Would you like to remember it for how it made people feel? Maybe the feedback you got from people about your offer made me feel whatever it made them feel. Would you want to remember it for the results it created, for things it got people to do and the result that it created for them? Would you want to remember it because of what it achieved for people, including yourself? Or would you like to remember it just for the fact that you did it? Is it an offer that you think, I feel good about that offer because I just did the bloody thing? So one of my, not my very first offer, but a fairly early offer for me was my first book, which I set myself the task of writing and publishing by my 40th birthday, and I hit publish on the book on Amazon the day before my 40th birthday. So I just scraped in at my own deadline. But I remember with great joy and pleasure and pride and happiness that I did it. And there's lots of other things I love about that offer, that book, and other people do too, and that's wonderful. But one of the things that's really at the heart of that for me is just remembering that I did it. I said I was going to do it, and I did it. And that was a pivotal moment for me in my online journey, in my online marketing journey, because I marketed it mainly through, in fact, only through the online space. So that's an important memory for me. So how do you want to remember your offer? And just again, think about the impressionistic element of this. How does it feel? Consider how it feels. Jot down notes, impressions. So those are the three questions to help you engage with alignment of your own offer. If you knew your offer was going to work according to all acceptable standards, including your own, no matter what would you want that offer to look like? That's the first question. Second question is, what qualities would you need your offer to have in order for you to feel safe within it? And the third question is, how do you want to remember your offer? So I'm going to leave you with these questions. They, as I say, are not to be answered necessarily with huge amounts of accuracy or to be written in tablets of stone. They're to be answered from an energetic place. The impressionistic answers you come up with are extremely important and valid. And it's important because answering these questions creates an energetic awareness of what would constitute an aligned offer for you. You don't need the details of it yet. You don't need to know what it's about. And you also don't need to know the answers to those later questions that come along further down the line, like how is this aligned to the needs of my ideal clients? How is this aligned to the needs of the market? How is this going to create transformation? All those things that are important. We do this foundational bit first, this self-awareness of the alignment that works for you. This is about having your own back. Because if you have your own back as an offer creator, if you have your own back in your entrepreneurial journey, that's what creates the sustainability that will allow you to move forward, and that your next and future offers will flow from. And that's much of what we'll be covering in Offer Wizard, which is, as I say, enrolling now. There are details on my link tree if you want to have a look at what's in the program, and we start a week on Monday, so I'm very excited. And I'll probably do a couple more of these lives about some of the things that would be usefully guided to explore before diving into offer creation. So I hope you found this helpful. Nice to see some of you popping on live with me. Thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you all again very soon. Take care.